Hey guys, I wanted to make a shorter version of the wrapping process from our longer rod repair video. We actually used braided Fireline to wrap this guide, and also this rod was broken completely in half. We essentially put it back together and we wrapped the fix in the Fireline. So I wanted to do a video of just the wrapping process so you could check it out. So let's reinforce that. Let me show you my wrap station here. So you can see I don't have a fancy wrap station. So what I do have is two rail bags where my pole's gonna sit. And then I have this bag that I keep just tools and stuff in. And we're gonna wrap with Superline. It's a braided Superline, so it should soak up the epoxy. And that's coming from the floor, underneath the bag, up and around this. It's gonna go onto the pole like that, and that's gonna be my quote-unquote tension spring. Okay, so I'm having a heck of a time getting this line started here. Because we're using Superline, this is a braid. It's gonna soak up the epoxy, which is what we want, and it's super strong. That's what I want on the rod. It's also extremely slippery. So normally what you do, we're gonna go ahead and wrap to the right here. We're gonna go up we're just gonna cover up the old epoxy, get snug on the other side of the guide, and go up about half an inch, maybe an inch tops above our break, which is right above the guide foot here. However, normally what you would do is you'd come over the top, and then you would cross over with your string with the tension on it, and that one crossover is enough to lock this thread in place, and you can cut it off. Unfortunately, this stuff is so slippery, we're going to do things a little bit different. We're going to go 1, 2, 3 times around, pull that really tight, and then we're just going to jump over and go 1, 2, 3 times around. Cinch everything down. So we did 3 times around on this side, and then we came over underneath this, did 3 times around on this side. Now we're gonna move this thread over the first 3, so it's jumped over here. So our thread now is the furthest right on the rod, and we're gonna start working our way up. And we're gonna keep our thumb on this and keep tension on it. Really do this as snug as possible. You want to keep this tag end out of the way here. And we get a couple loops on here, it's going to bite in, and we'll be able to just go with it. But I've done this like 6 times today, and it just keeps popping free. I get halfway up over the guide foot here, and it'll just pop free. So there, I think we got tension, and we're just going to continue nice and easy all the way up. Round it completely. See, my thread just jumped off the old epoxy line. Nice and snug. We're going to angle it. We're actually going to swoop our guide underneath. We're going to push it down, nice and snug. And we're going to do it again. Swoop our guide, push, swoop our guide, push. and I'm just constantly because it's rough in here, I don't want any gaps, and I'm constantly just kind of using my thumb like you would a burnishing tool, because I don't want to stop now that I got a little head of steam going here. I'm just trying to keep this as tight as possible, and I can almost just about start wrapping like normal. Snip that off. Okay, so now we're getting near the end here. I'm probably gonna do about 10 more wraps. So what we're gonna do is I already took this little, maybe 6-inch, 8-inch piece. We're gonna make a loop, so you can see that, and we're gonna just set it down right up in our wrap. I'm actually gonna do it on the side opposite of the guide. Go around that, if I can get it damn there. Keeping tension here with this finger. Actually, go like this. So I got my loop ready. I'm gonna cut my braid, drop it down in this loop, pull it tight. And my hand is completely cramped up, so we're gonna cheat here. Okay. What we need to do is we need to pull this loop out, which is gonna pull our string down. So I got it started so it's stuck. I'm gonna wrap this around here. Just popped it down and through. So, being extremely careful, we're going to cut this guy. And we're going to push that all down on itself again. Snug her in there. Okay. Now, down here on this end, we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to pull it nice and tight as much as possible, because we don't want that to move. I want to go ahead and flatten my threads. I think we'll be able to flatten these threads slightly. I'm going to push down on this guy. Try to cover that up as much as possible. Push these guys down. So, combat ready. Not the prettiest thing you've ever seen, but should be pretty solid, honestly. Especially once we get some epoxy over that beast. So now what we're gonna do is I'm actually gonna set this on the thread, and I'm going to pull this guy towards me, which is kind of what you're supposed to do anyway. And then we're just going to very lightly snug this one up. And there is our completed wrap. It's locked on itself. If I hold this out God, that's added like no weight whatsoever. I don't know that we're gonna need anything more than that. So I hope that was informative and made sense. Again, that was a shorter bit of a longer video we did on fixing this broken rod, which I would suggest you check out if you're interested or if you've ever broke a rod before. It might help put things in perspective a little bit more. We'll link to that. And one other thing we're gonna do is we're actually gonna do the same type of process. We have a busted cane pole from Walmart. This is my boy's. And when we got it, it was missing the metal sleeve, like the receiver end for these two pieces. So last year he was small enough that he could just use this essentially stick and fish, and caught a nice little bass on it. It's all good. But this year I'd like to get him to where he's using the whole thing. So we're gonna fix this with a dowel rod similar to our busted graphite pole. And then we're gonna wrap this in the Superline and use the flex coat. We'll actually talk a little bit about flex coat too, because it's really nice. But we'll do that in another video. So in the meantime, head over to Clear.Water.Sky.com, see what we got going on. See you soon.